Dan, good morning.
Hey, how you doing there?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
It's bright and early here in Spokane, Washington, but anytime you guys give the ask, I try to say let's do it.
Well, we appreciate that very much. I've been alerted though that Mraz, my producer, tells me that you opted for this time slot, 6:40 local time on the West Coast. So big ups to you. You're a morning warrior.
I did. And crazy enough, the reason is we had a little water issue with our kitchen, and so we're in the midst of a complete total remodel of our kitchen. So every morning I'm home at this time. I have to run out and get breakfast for the family, and so it works out perfectly. I'm in the car. I'm heading to get some breakfast and bring it back to the family.
Very nice. Quickly, what are you going to get for breakfast? Where are you going?
Well, I'm a Northwest guy, Starbucks, but it's kind of hurtful to get Starbucks because the owner stole the Sonics from Seattle as well. Or I guess stole them right out from under the feet of the people in the Northwest.
Okay, so let me ask you about the Big Ten tournament at Madison Square Garden. I was highly skeptical of this. I did not think this made sense a week earlier than the other championship tournaments for power conferences, and yet I was there Friday and Saturday and said, you know what, this was awesome. Did you end up thinking that they did the right thing by holding that tournament at MSG, or did you still feel it doesn't make sense to have it in New York City that early?
Well, I think New York is such a good basketball town. People there love basketball, whether it's with the college or the NBA, if they're playing good. So the Garden is a great setting as well. So if you can do it there, do it. The only problem I'm sure for a lot of Big Ten people is, it's a little bit more of a travel. It's not in our true traditional footprint. But when you think about New York as being a tourist attraction, the city that everybody wants to go travel to, you talk about the Garden. I do think it makes sense. The only tough part is, Big Ten was typically, if I remember correctly, one of the last two conference tournaments that was finished up right before Selection Sunday show started.
Right.
Obviously, they're done, a good 8-9 days. Well, maybe not 8-9 days. They're done a good 6 days before they used to get finished up in the past.
No question. Well, yeah, most of that team is now, or most of that conference is a week. They got to wait a full week just to see where they're going to play, let alone when they're going to play after that. So it is going to be a long layoff for them. From a Pac-12 standpoint, we know how talented Arizona is, specifically with DeAndre Ayton and Alonzo Trier, but now we have this FBI probe hanging over them. Do you think this affects Arizona in March?
I think it has to a certain extent. I mean, they're going to be dealing with, much like they have, but probably even more so now on another level when they're at media day, when they're answering questions after practice and shoot-around. They're going to be answering the same questions over and over from reporters who haven't seen them face-to-face and kind of need their own soundbite. So I think it's got a chance to be a major distraction. The other thing I think it has a chance to do is be a major kind of let's pull together as a team kind of deal. So I could see it going either way. I could see it becoming a huge distraction, and they take an early exit, or they band together, and maybe this is the first year that Sean Miller gets to a Final Four. I mean, he's had talented teams in the past that have just not quite been able to get it done, and this team, people were talking about them as maybe being the best team in the country early this season before they had those 3 losses out in the Bahamas.
Dan Dickau joins us, CBS Sports Network college basketball analyst. Seems like most people are pointing to the Big 12 as the most intriguing power conference tournament this week. Is that where your eyes are going to be?
I think so. I think, honestly, right now, anywhere that Trae Young is playing, people are intrigued because how well he has played throughout the season, but also now the intrigue of, hey, they've really struggled in the month of February, has Oklahoma. Can they right the ship well enough to be a at-large team to have a chance to make a run in the conference tournament? Can anybody knock off Kansas? And then the depth in that league is, come on now. You got so many talented teams. It's going to be a great tournament.
In the SEC, what a weird season. Florida, Kentucky, they don't end up winning the SEC. and said Auburn and Tennessee are at the top of the SEC. Do you think that that will continue into the SEC tournament, where Auburn, Tennessee, or some other non-traditional power teams of that conference actually end up doing the most work when it comes to the SEC tournament?
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I really liked Alabama with Stone Sexton. I know they've had their struggles as of late. So they're kind of on the outside looking in. I think, Tennessee proves to you just how good of a coach Rick Barnes is. Auburn, I don't think anybody knew what to expect after, Bruce Pearl was part of those early discussions about the FBI probe. So, they've done a really good job of blocking out the noise. You talk about Florida. I saw them this year at the PK 80 against Gonzaga, where I think it was a double overtime game. That was one of the best games I'd ever seen in person as a fan, and they were good. So, kind of their struggles middle of the year kind of shocked me and surprised me, but they look to be getting back to that early season form. And if they are anywhere near that, I mean, I would not look forward to preparing to play against those guys.
Dan Dickau joins us, college basketball analyst for CBS Sports Network. Final question on the ACC. Virginia has had a tendency to have very good teams, but not be able to march all the way to the finals, or the Final Four, rather. This year, they're the number one team in the country right now, 17-1 in the SEC, in the ACC, and the number one seed in that tournament, which will be held at Barclays in Brooklyn. Do you feel like the Cavaliers this year are not only the best team in the country, but also a different type of Cavs team that will be able to get to the Final Four in San Antonio?
I do. I mean, I've watched bits and pieces of their games this year. I haven't sat and watched a complete one from start to finish. But again, what I see with Tony Bennett's teams is it's a team that just absolutely gets down in the stance and guards you. They don't give up anything easy. Every shot, every pass is contested. It's difficult. You have to do it with precision. And then on the offensive end, I know they're not – I don't want to necessarily call them methodical, because I don't think that's fair. I think they're more talented of a group than just to say, hey, they're robots. But I think what they are is they're very patient, and they're smart enough to know when the defense is out of a position. That's when we attack. That's when we get our dribble drive going. When they make a mistake on a screen, that's when we step back and make a three. And Tony Bennett's in the same boat as Sean Miller. Great coach. Tony Bennett's time before he gets the team to the Final Four. And I hope it's this year for Tony Bennett. I think he's an unbelievable coach. I think he's an even better person.
Dan Dickau joining us, breaking down March Madness. College basketball power conference tournament will begin in just a couple of days. He's a former WCC Player of the Year, of course, a tremendous career at Gonzaga, then also was a first-round draft pick in the NBA, and now working for CBS Sports Network, breaking it all down. Check him out on Twitter as well for the latest in March. Dan, it's always good to catch up, buddy. Enjoy your Starbucks breakfast, man, and good luck. Good luck with the kitchen renovation.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate it. Should be done the next week or so. But, yep, you guys have a great day.
All right, we'll be over for the dinner party. Thanks so much.
All right.
Dan Dickau joining us